In this video, I would like to introduce you to the third of the four market structures. This one is called Monopolistic Competition. You may recall in our previous discussion, we talked about perfect competition and monopoly. Well, monopolistic competition is a hybrid. It is a combination of those two. It shares certain characteristics of perfect competition as well as monopoly. Before we get into those characteristics, let me just give you some examples of monopolistic competition. Anywhere you see a market where there is a wide variety, very often that is an indication of monopolistic competition. If you look at the restaurant market in Memphis, there are many choices. Even here in Jackson, Tennessee, when my wife and I decide to go out to eat, it is really a chore for us to decide because there's so many choices. The wine market, again, a lot of variety, a lot of choices. The soap market. Have you ever been to Walmart or Target and you gone to the soap section or the shampoo section? It's overwhelming. There are so many different brands, so many different types. I just don't know what to choose sometimes. It's just so much variety, so much choice. Again, this is indication of monopolistic competition. Here are the characteristics. Number one, in monopolistic competition, just like in perfect competition, there are many buyers and sellers. We're talking large markets here. There's a lot of people buying soap, a lot of firms selling soap. Second characteristic, and this is critical to monopolistic competition. This is what really separates it from perfect competition. Each firm produces a differentiated product. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that each firm produces essentially the same thing as everyone else, but there are some differences, either real differences or at least differences that are perceived in the minds of consumers. Again, these may be actual differences. You know, different kinds of soaps, they have different scents. Some soaps are green, some soaps are blue. There's real differences. Some soaps are Zest brand, others are Ivory. Those are actual differences. But in some cases, the differences may be entirely perceived. You think about soap. Over 90% of the ingredients in soap are identical across all brands. They all use the same basic ingredients, and most of those ingredients, over 99% of those ingredients, end up going down the drain. So for all practical purposes, these are homogeneous products. But we don't think they are. My favorite brand of soap is Lever 2000. That's all I will use. Several years ago, I had a dermatologist tell me that it was the best soap on the market, so that's the only soap I use. It's the only soap my family uses. Truth be told, it's not that much different from Ivory and Zest and Dial and all those others. But in monopolistic competition, you have products that are essentially the same with some degree of differentiation. Finally, third characteristic in monopolistic competition, there's easy entry and exit. It's easy for firms, if there are profits being made, it's easy for new firms to enter the market. And of course, if there are losses, it's easy for firms to leave the market. So what we have basically with monopolistic competition are firms who have monopoly power but without the monopoly protection. Now, what do I mean by monopoly power? Well, each firm, just like a monopolist, each firm is a price searcher. They have some degree of control over the price of their good. They can set the price for their good. Huey's sets the price on a Huey burger, just like a monopolist does. The difference is that Huey's doesn't have monopoly protection. There are no barriers to entry that would prevent other firms from entering the market. So again, it's like each of these firms has monopoly power over their own product, but they don't have the monopoly protection. They don't have those barriers to entry that we see in monopoly. So these are the basic characteristics of monopolistic competition. In the next segment, in the next video, I want to talk a little bit more about this idea of product differentiation.